Why am I starting this new YouTube channel? What is the goal of this channel and who am I? Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Sunil and I am a doctor turned entrepreneur. YouTube completely changed the trajectory of my life and my career. And I'm making this channel to really talk about my own journey and how other men out there, especially professional men, can do the same thing, because things were not always this way. Right now, I have location freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, and my only regret is I wish I'd started YouTube earlier. But let me tell you a little bit about myself. I live in the United States, but as you may be able to tell, I didn't grow up in the United States. I was born in London, grew up across the pond. And when I was a teenager, decided that I wanted to be a doctor. So I went to medical school. And then shortly after finishing medical school, I hopped across the pond to the United States. And I realized quite quickly as a doctor, and this is fairly universal nowadays with many different countries. Now, medicine, of course, is a noble profession. I'm glad I became a doctor. There's a lot of good things that doctors do, but I was not happy with the fact that I was not independent, I didn't have autonomy, and I knew that with the way things are, I would always be trading my time for money. I felt like I was going through the motions, and I knew that this could continue for years, decades, and I would be in a job that I wasn't enthusiastic about. I was getting a paycheck, but I didn't have autonomy, and I would never be happy in my career. I knew I had a creative streak. I wanted so much more. And this is when I decided to get more creative. And I started writing more, and slowly, slower than it should have happened, I got online and I started learning about social media. And YouTube was becoming a thing. Now, it took me some time to get into my stride, but YouTube, what an amazing platform. YouTube is the most serious platform where people go in their billions every single day, every single week to seek answers for their problems. And I can tell you, not even only in the field of my career, I've been in situations where YouTube has really helped me to level up in a variety of different ways. And I was in my 30s and I realized that a profound change was needed. So I started thinking very carefully about my trajectory in life, my career, and I embarked on a journey of self-improvement. I learned to step more into my masculinity. I do believe that modern mainstream culture is so very toxic. I mean, they talk a lot about toxic masculinity, whatever that is. But masculinity is actually a very beautiful thing. Masculinity should be in perfect harmony with the opposite in the world, femininity. But we too often forget that. But anyway, I went on my journey of rediscovering myself, my core masculinity, and what I really wanted out of life. And this took me as well on the journey, which is the natural progression of that, of having unstoppable purpose, having energy levels which are consistent with my goals. I, of course, leveled up in other areas, including my health, my well-being. But my goal was to get out of being in a career where I felt like I was simply going through the motions. I mean, isn't that the worst thing for a man, to know that you're simply a cog in the wheel? And far too many men out there go on like this for years, for decades. I'm going to have a sip of my Starbucks Earl Grey tea here. For absolutely years. And think about this, men in their millions. I mean, how much does that downgrade the state of the world, that men are going through the motions? Smart men, intelligent men, creative men. And I got into YouTube in my particular niche, which was health. And I grew a channel to several 100,000, and I was on other social media channels as well, but by far the most important was YouTube. And from YouTube, I got into online programs, courses, creating them, and products. And that process completely changed the trajectory of my life. And I can now make way more in earnings from social media than I did as a doctor. And I was not badly paid as a doctor. But that is the great thing about being online. And it's not only about income and earnings. Of course, let's not beat around the bush here. You want a secure, regular income. You want to take care of yourself and your family. You want to achieve your dreams. You want to live a great life. Yes, of course. Money, finance is extremely important. But it's also very important for the high-performing professional man of purpose to be doing something important, to make a difference in people's lives, to seek excellence with whatever it is you are promoting and selling. And the great thing about being online is that you can actually help way more people. So in my niche of health, I was helping way more people than I ever could in my regular line of work every day in a brick and mortar building. So this is a no-brainer, really. Not only will you be able to make more financially, you will be able to scale a business by going online, but you will also be able to help more people. So, as I said, the only regret I have is that I didn't do this much earlier. And I've made mistakes along the way. Of course I have. That is the journey of any entrepreneur, and it should be the journey. But I believe that people now don't need to make the same mistakes I did. What took me years could be accomplished in months or even less if you know how to go about doing things in the right way. And this is what this channel is going to be about. It is going to be based on my own profound journey of self-improvement, going from a regular professional who was frustrated, knew that I didn't want to carry on like this, simply being cookie cutter, going through the motions, career path set out for me. I wanted so much more. And yes, it was a complete package of a journey. I had to work on my health and well-being. I had to work on my mindset. But ultimately, the goal was to be in a position where I was an entrepreneur and I wasn't trading my time for money. So that is what this channel is going to be about. It is going to be about helping the many professional men out there, whether you are a doctor, another medical professional, a dentist, a lawyer, an accountant, or any other professional, an engineer, IT, you name it, so many professions out there. I want to help as many men as possible level up in life so that if you feel stuck like I did, I mean, if you feel fantastic about what you do, this channel is not for you. But there is so much more out of life. And I want you to understand that living in the digital age, there are so many ways that you could package up your skills in a scalable way and launch a very successful digital business. YouTube is by far the best way to do that, and I will explain more about that in future videos. Let me have another sip of my tea here. But we're going to have a lot of fun. There is so much to cover. You will level up, and you will never look back.